It is Party Time Wednesday, Hump Day. Let's get it on at the Chad Prather Show, the Mothership Studio 22, the Puppet Master Mark, Super Chris Cruz, and Let's Love Brandon all at the helm, driving us into the nether regions of all things insanity. Biscuit's insane. Look at Biscuit. Just get your healthy Wednesday dose of Biscuit. There it is. Hey, guys, some of the news that you could use and then lose. You remember that show, Weakest Link? You remember that show where you are the weakest link? Goodbye. That crazy Gestapo Nazi lady. Her name is Ann Robinson. She made the news this week. She said that the trans movement is attempting to erase biological women from the story. And I think I speak for America in being shocked to find out that Ann Robinson isn't actually a trans woman. Hey, there were 100 visibly Jewish, that was the phrase, visibly Jewish passengers that were removed from a German flight without explanation. This would be a bigger story, but historically, German transportation hasn't worked out great for the Jewish people anyway, so there's that. Demi Lovato, remember them? That's right. She's announced that she, he, it, they, them, whatever the hell she is adding more pronouns and genders to itself in a desperate attempt to stay relevant. She wants to feel like she has celebrity friends. Oh, get this person some help. Demi, you should call up Amber Heard. You two girls are going to have tons of fun being crazy and probably doing cocaine together, but you get a lot of it because there's a lot of you guys anyway, I can't deal with all the personalities. 4 brain surgeries is what a teenager received to become a world-class chess champion. I think that's like performance-enhancing autism. It's a smarter version of the shit Leah Thomas is trying to pull. I think you should have to compete with people like you should have to compete with the brain you were born with. Let's just be honest about this, okay? Sunny Hostin from The View, finally, we talked about it the other day. She's gone off the rails completely, claiming the phrase black Republican is an oxymoron. The only moron here is Sunny Hostin for thinking that black people still believe the Democratic Party is working for them at all. And I'm not going to waste your time listing off all the prestigious African-American members of the GOP. But what I will say is that intelligent discussion on The View is the biggest oxymoron I ever heard. And the first recipient of a pig heart transplant has died from a virus that the pig carried with it, which I think is a much darker ending to Charlotte's Web than we originally intended. Skeptics and animal rights activists have said that they will allow the transplants to continue when pigs fly. I don't know about fly, but a lot more pigs are going to die until we figure out how to make this work. This is modern medicine, folks, but nobody wants to see how the sausage is made. 50 Cent, you remember 50? 50 Cent was quoted as asking, is LGBTQ going to kill Dave Chappelle in front of us? That was after a man, of course, rushed the stage and tackled Chappelle while holding a knife mid-set. This is all a trickle-down effect from the Will Smith slap. You can't convince me otherwise. I'm not going to weigh on anything too political here, but I will say it was nice to watch that man get the hell beaten out of him. Folks, stay off the stages. Let the performers perform before someone loses a life or a loved one. You don't want to spend the rest of your life getting called soft for slapping a comic like Will Smith did. And you don't want both your arms broken into a million little pieces like Chappelle's attacker. So just keep your ass in the seat and everybody can have a good time. Speaking of having a good time, folks, I'm going to be in Naples, Florida, May 25th. And then we're going to kick off June. We're getting back on the road pretty hard and heavy. Going to be in Belton, Texas. That's right, Belton, Texas, on June 3rd. And then on June 4th, we're going to be in Bernie, Texas. And, of course, Billy Bob's, Texas on June 5th, Shawnee, Oklahoma, June 17th. Lots of stuff going on. You can go to watchchad.com, get all the information you need. But we need to get your butts in those seats is what we need to do. Isn't that right, Biscuit? Hyper little dog. All right. Okay, we got to comment on what we talked about on Monday. Of course, we know about that little Bonnie and Clyde escapade where the jail boss, who had tragically ended her own life after a pursuit from the police, they've apprehended the inmate that she was having the little tryst with, the little love affair. And this is a sad story, right? And we said on Monday's episode during the monologues, we hoped that this was going to have a happier ending. But it's a sad deal. But there was 9/11 audio that, you know, when they captured him and she was saying that they should get out and run from the car. And then she shot herself in the head. They say allegedly, but I'm pretty certain that's what she did. But she said the airbags are going off. Let's get out and run. Do we have the video? We don't have that video, do we? And I'm probably happy we don't. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So they had the camera video the police video of them taking her out of the car. She still had the gun in her hand, finger on the trigger. Sad deal. I mean, this lady, so she was 56. He's 38. He's back in jail. And she had retired, and she had big plans for life, wanted to go live at the beach and all that. But obviously, this is a case of brainwashing. This is relationship. I mean, this guy got into her head. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out, when I heard the story and how this thing came out, is I don't know. I'd love to hear from a legal analyst, like how this will go down. Will he be charged? Before just, besides just trying to escape, will he be charged and held in some form of responsibility for what happened to her? There really should be, I've experienced this and various other people have. There should be stronger repercussions of people when people just screw with somebody, right? And just mess with their lives. And we do have laws against things like revenge porn. You can't be posting text messages that people send you. There's laws against that. But we see with this Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing, which again is not real life, but that doesn't mean that this type of domestic abuse doesn't go on, where people really are playing, doing psychological and mental abuse with each other. But all the way to this situation, which ended tragically. But this guy obviously played with her head. I mean, this was a brainwashing thing. And so I don't know. I think there should be stronger repercussions. These days, especially with the internet and online stuff, there's more and more of this kind of stuff that goes on where there's communication. I mean, I had somebody that got scammed last week, and I won't tell you all the details, but somebody got scammed. I'll put the dog down. Somebody got scammed because somebody created a fake profile in my name. It happens all the time. Listen, guys, if you're on TikTok or on whatever, and it's Chad Prather _4, and that person has 30 followers, it ain't me, okay? It's not me, Chris. I'm not trying to enter into a love affair with anybody. There was a lady that got scammed out of $6,000 last week. I mean, it happens almost monthly, and it's never a small. It's like I've seen like as high as like $8,000. People get scammed. Like, I'm in the wrong business. I should be out there just asking people for money. I don't need help with the electric bill. My car's not being repossessed. There's none of that stuff going on. So if anybody's out there sending you messages, please be smart enough to know that that's not how I operate, okay? But this lady thought we were dating. She thought we were dating. And the person asked her, this is it. This is how interesting it gets in various ways, but like she was wanting to, he said she wanted to do like a FaceTime. And he said, no, you've got an Android, I've got an iPhone, you can't do it. She went out and bought an iPhone. And so then she said, well, I got an iPhone now. And he's like, well, I've got this feature turned off on my phone. Guys, come on. This is all right. And then after Mother's Day, I posted that picture with my mother, and my mom's great. She's fun, life of the party, really, all that stuff. But then people were going out, and somebody created a fake profile in my mother's name and was reaching out to people, asking for help, stuff like that. Listen, I'm not engaged in online pillow talk. And so let me also say, if you're sending me messages, regardless of what they are, if you're cussing me out or anything, and you're sending the message on Facebook, like the Watch Chad Prather page, that's a Blaze on page. I've told you this before. I'm probably not going to see that message, okay? So Chris will probably see it because Chris is an admin on that page. Chris does most of the posting on that page, actually. I'll share stuff from my personal page over to it, but that's a Blaze on, Blaze run thing. So if you're sending messages cussing me out, address them to Chris, because Chris is the one that misspelled the word or said something transphobic, all right? Just know that I'm not out there trying to brainwash you in any way, shape, or form. I'm not Jeffy, all right? So I'm doing okay in life, reasonably well, and I'm anyway. I'm just kind of a cautionary tale. But back to this situation in Alabama, and they caught him where? Evansville, Indiana, somewhere up in Indiana. They were on the run, and sad deal. This lady ended her life, and so I felt really. I mean, honestly, I was like, oh, because obviously we make fun of these situations as they're happening. We can't tell the future. So when we taped the show on Monday and then did the monologue about it, I was thinking back. I was like, God, did we say anything like we really shouldn't have said in that regard? But
I watched it because I had the same thought. I was not going to publish the monologue by itself.
Yeah.
But I rewatched it. We were just reporting on it. Now, the picture of them with the hearts and love affair, that could be a little too much, but we were just reporting what we knew.
What we knew at the time. What we knew at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we've made fun of Amber Heard doing blow on the stand, right?
Yeah.
But if she has a drug overdose tomorrow, that's not on us. We don't know that, right? Whatever. I love it when I posted the other day, I said, Zandon, that was the horse that was one of the favorites in the Kentucky Derby. I said, Zandon, that's all I'm going to say about that. And people are coming back at me now and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, you really picked the 80-1 horse to win. I know you guys, the second biggest long shot in Kentucky Derby history, you guys had that fine-tuned and well-honed perception to be able to predict the winner of an 80-1 odds of the Kentucky Derby. You guys knew. Boy, if I had a time machine, though, and to go back and lay 100,000, I'd fly to Vegas. And y'all wouldn't see my white ass around here no more. I'd be out there scamming people for real. Lord have mercy. Golly, speaking of scamming people, the Ministry of Truth, folks, the Ministry of Truth. This is not the official seal of the Ministry of Truth yet, but where does it go? Yeah, you can get it at chadonblaze.com. Just remember, folks, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. That's what we want you to remember. Use promo code CHAD10. Get it all off, baby. Get 10% across the board. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but you can't afford shit anymore in America. Can't do it. I want to talk about more of that in the next segment, but dadgum, this baby formula thing, it's sad and it's scary, but it's almost comedic. The fact that this is what we're dealing with. I mean, I was sitting there thinking about it this morning. I was like, okay, we got this war on babies anyway with the whole Roe v. Wade thing, and people are just coming out really showing their true evil colors and all of this. But it's like, we really got a war on babies. Now we don't even want to feed them. There's a shortage on that stuff, which, by the way, you guys can use some distilled water and evaporated milk and pretty much do the same thing. Oh, and breastfeed. I know not everybody can breastfeed. I know not everybody can. But it amazes me that there are women out there, and again, you're going to come at me and say, this is not your concern. Well, it sort of kind of is, because I think that culturally, women have been sold a bill of goods. When women come out and say, well, I just don't want to breastfeed. Like, that to me is weird, right? I mean, that is one of the most innate, natural things that women should have that instinct to want to do. But I think culture's attacked women to the point and told them that, no, you don't need to do those kind of things. You can, Now, my friend Ryan Mickler, Order of Man, the host of Order of Man, Ryan Mickler came out and he said, in fact, if a woman doesn't want to breastfeed, you shouldn't want to be with that woman. Pretty strong stuff. But I see where he's coming from on that. And we're going to get, by the way, next week, can we get John Doyle on the show? Let's get John Doyle on the show, because this would be a fun topic to talk about with John. Now, granted, John's a single guy who has no kids. So, I mean, basically no life experience. But I want to hear his input, because John doesn't care. John just doesn't care. He tells you exactly what you need to hear. But we can have fun with that. And, anyway, folks, it's time to up your kitchen knife game. Kamekoto Knives are a new sponsor, and I like them a lot. Using traditional techniques, Kamekoto crafts beautiful knives using steel that is sourced from Japan. Each blade is made with techniques that have been honed and perfected by generations of knife smiths. They come in a beautiful, heavy-duty ashwood box, and every blade is individually inspected, comes with a lifetime guarantee. Because of their single bevel edge, Kamekoto Knives can achieve a wickedly sharp edge, the kind you just can't get with other knives. These are cut through your ribeye like butter sharp. I love knives. I love blades. I got a great collection, but I have a collection of steak knives. I was out at a restaurant the other night in Fort Worth, and they come out with a set of knives. You get to pick your steak knife. They're all different knives, and you get to pick the type knife you want. When I got the box of Kamekoto knives, let me tell you, I was in love. I was like, these are badass knives. And there's a lot of chefs at Michelin star restaurants that use these knives around the world. They're amazing gifts, come in the beautiful boxes, maintain each knife's edge with one of Kamekoto's sharpening whetstones. And like I said, they're so confident in their product that each and every knife comes with a lifetime guarantee. So go ahead and buy it right now. Kamekoto is offering you an extra $50 off site-wide on top of their special offers. Go to kamekoto.com. That's Kamekoto, Kamekoto.com. Use offer code Prather for an extra $50 off. Kamekoto.com/Prather and use promo code Prather, and we'll be right back. These shirts, the Ministry of Truth shirts, all of our shirts that come from chatonblaze.com, they're the Bella Canvas. So those of you who send me messages and you love my shirts that you get off of my site, same deal, same material, good stuff. And this is literally a tri-blend shirt. It's the best possible T-shirt. I'm wearing one right now. Pronouns the shit. They're not pronouns. The is not a pronoun. It's a definite article. I can identify as whatever I want. And right now, I identify as the, she, it. What's funny now, I went on my Instagram account a couple of weeks ago, and they've got a place where you can put your pronouns in your deal. You can like go in and list them off. So I put the, she, it. They wouldn't let me do it. Apparently, now this is the hypocrisy of this whole thing. If this is what I identify as, I should be able to put whatever I want. But it had to be approved pronouns that Instagram or the powers that Zuckerberg be, I don't know. They have to be things, I guess, that they already have approved. And so, anyway, I couldn't put the, she, it. You can't just make up your pronouns. It has to be something that the rest of the world has already made up for you. All right? Speaking of making up things, they're making up the value of the dollar because there's nothing backing it up anymore. Your money, when you look at this kind of stuff, like, I don't know whether to be, if I were Glenn Beck, I wouldn't know whether to be sad or excited, like, because he's right, and that's great. But the problem is he's right. That sucks. So, like, if you look at modern monetary theory and the ESG scores and how fast they're trying to implement this garbage, it's crazy. So inflation has now surged higher than expected. But expected by who? Because we've been calling this thing. I've heard Glenn say it. I've said 10% by the fall, probably. 8.3% in April. That's a 40-year record. Inflation, man. Inflation. Folks can't afford things. They can't. You know, we were talking about some of my businesses, and people were like, well, why is sales down? And I said, people can't afford anything. What you posted a picture of gas in California, and it was like $8 a gallon.
It was $8 the regular, and then at 10 cents for the next two. And then people came at me like, oh, well, that's in the desert. So what? Desert people can't get gas?
I mean, is that a justification?
I don't think that's a justification. Isn't that price gouging if you're saying, oh, that's in the desert?
Yeah, why are you discriminating against desert folks?
Yeah.
Why do you hate the Bedouins? Are they supposed to ride a camel? That's racist. You know how much it costs to feed a camel in this economy? Yeah, and in California, they got water problems, so what the hell's in that hump? You know what? In Silicon Valley, maybe you got a camel with two humps because you got it like that. Anyway, inflation ticked down slightly after hitting 8.5% in March. And I love it when, like, I drive a diesel truck. Everybody knows that. And, diesel prices around here had gotten up to like $5.29. Well, it's not great. It's not great. And I think about it, like, every time I go to the pump and I fill up, I'm like, man, there are people out here they're really getting kicked in the nads here. And, I swipe the card or put the card in, and it'll automatically stop at $125. Well, my truck is not full at $125 at those prices. That's about 3/4 of a tank. So, and then I'm too lazy to swipe it again. And plus, it just pisses me off because I want to take Joe Biden's name in vain. And Joey Basements. And so it ticked down a couple of months ago, about a month and a half ago. It ticked down, I think it was like $4.79. It actually got down to like $4.50. And everybody's like, oh, see, it's coming down. It's coming down. I was like, hold on to your pecker now. This ain't staying like this. They're giving you, you remember, he's going to release the little barrels of reserve, which shouldn't be having to do that. But he's releasing the reserve barrels. And so it ticked down a little bit to put a boobie in your mouth, right? You put some baby formula in your mouth and get you pacified. But now it's right back up. Consumer Price Index, that's the key inflation gauge that tracks what consumers pay for goods and services, rose 0.3% from March to April. That was down from a whopping 1.2% increase February to March. Ahead of the release, economists poll the Dow Jones predicted the CPI would jump 8.1% in April. The core CPI, or the price of goods excluding volatile food and energy costs, was 6.2% on an annualized basis, higher than the projected 6%. I mean, is it really? Are we really building back better? I mean, the country, yeah, we had our problems. There were things that weren't great, but my God, every little thing that this administration touches truly does go to shit. There's nothing. I mean, you can't point to a single good thing that this administration has done. In fact, I want to hear from you. I want you to go where podcasts are offered, leave us a 5-star rating, and then leave a review. I want you to tell us. You can do it facetiously. I want you to tell us something good that Joe Biden and this administration has done. We'll wait for you. We'll wait for you. And if you come up with something legitimate, we'll read it off here. I will read it off right here, and we will talk about it. I will eat crow. And the Republicans are no better. The Republicans are garbage, too. Have you seen the thing of Robert Wagner from Austin Powers, where he's wearing the eye patch, and it says, I'm going to tell my kids this was Dan Crenshaw? That's a funny meme. That's a funny meme. But the economic experts expect the global economy to worsen. I don't think that's a shock to anybody. And I could read all the percentage points off to you, but here's what they add up to. Crap. They really do add up to crap. But this baby formula thing, I want to talk about it for a second because I read this and I'm like, really? Like, what next? What next is going to be? And it always seems to be the most mundane things that you take for granted, which, again, baby formula and diapers and stuff like that has historically been stuff that in the stores they have to keep it under lock and key because people steal it. It's not cheap. Those kind of things are not cheap. So, our buddy Clint Emerson, and we got to get him in here, retired Navy SEAL Clint Emerson. He's been on the show numerous times. 100 Deadly Skills, the right kind of crazy. He's got a new book out called The Rugged Life. And it's fantastic, dude. You read it. You looked through it. You got it. I looked through it.
I got it on the mail yesterday because I pre-ordered when you posted it on your social.
Yeah.
I got it yesterday. It literally took me 2 hours to read, just to skim through. And
right.
I literally dog earmark so much.
Yeah.
How to skin a rabbit, how to skin a deer, how to can. It was I even told you, we got to have him back on.
Well, we got to have him on.
Good.
And I told him, I talked to him yesterday. We got to have Mike Ritlin back on. I did Mike Ritlin's. We taped his show, Mic Drop, yesterday, and had a great time. And we talked a lot about my run for governor and just what I learned, what I experienced, what my solutions were. And it was the most politically incorrect you'll ever see me talking about these issues. And it was quite liberating to be able to say exactly what I feel, because I'm not having to play the nice campaigning guy. And so we had a good about 2-hour conversation for his show. But Emerson, Clint, he's got this new book out. And it doesn't just talk about, most of you watch this show, pretty good chance you guys know how to skin a deer. You've at least seen it done. You can figure it out. You're not scared of the blood. But he talks some, like how to make your own soap. How many chickens you need to keep in order to produce eggs, and then how many rabbits it would take to supply food for this length of time. It's really cool stuff. I mean, everything from building so this is a free plug, but I'm telling you, this is where we got to get in this world, because we take so many things for granted. Things like baby formula, things like toilet paper, right? But here's the thing: like, you can wipe your ass with leaves. You can't. You got to be a little more concerned with how you're choosing to feed your child. So these are major issues, and there are health issues that are associated when it comes to women and breastfeeding. Not everybody can. Not everybody's able to. There's some problems with that. So I'm just saying, get yourself equipped. We're about to go into some hard times. In some ways we already are, but we're about to go into some hard times. And I'm going to talk to you in the next segment about the reason that we're going into these hard times, and just expose a couple of things. And you already know them, but there's some kind of interesting examples I want to point out to you. It's scary, though. And speaking of that, My Patriot Supply is another patron of ours, a supporter of ours, that you guys need to be. I'm telling you, you haven't done it already. And I was on the podcast yesterday. I was watching the live chat last night, and people were asking, what's the promo code for My Patriot Supply? And I told them, I said, you can go to preparewithchad.com, and it has the discount built into it. But the world is obviously, as we're saying, I mean, it's getting more and more dangerous. There are tons of things going on, from this inflation stuff, food shortages. We got conflict abroad. We don't know how that's going to spread. There's no telling how long any of this stuff's going to go on. So you need to be stocking up on that long-term emergency food. Preparewithchad.com is where you need to go. That discount I'm talking about will save you $150 on a 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. You can trust them. They're the nation's largest. They're the most trusted security food company out there. $150 off the 3-month emergency food kit, and that's going to give you everything you need, from breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks. And that's per person, by the way. It's good food. I've tried it. It's good food. Preparewithchad.com is where you need to go. You can get that $150 savings when they send it to you. It's going to come quick. I ordered some, I told you, for my mother. Bam, it was right in there. Do it while you can get it quick. It's going to come in discreet, unmarked boxes so your neighbors don't come hunting for you when the shit goes down. 3-month emergency food kit. Get one for every member of your family at preparewithchad.com. Don't get caught unprepared. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Boy, it's a crazy world we're living in. I think you know that already. Folks, if there's one thing we've learned far more clearly through the course of the pandemic than we had already suspected, it's that indoctrination in the thinly veiled socio-political ideology that's rife within the boundaries of our public education system, it's alive and well, folks. I have been coming on this show for a long time now, telling you that you need to get your kids out of public schools. I don't apologize for it. I do not even waver on that opinion. It seems like increasingly, they're not even trying to hide the ball anymore. So I want to take a little journey with you and show you another example to Wentzville, Missouri, where a student recently encountered the following question on a test. And I'm going to quote it for you verbatim. Here it is. Ready? Here we go. Teresa has heard in the news about the fatal shootings of unarmed African-American men by police officers, but does not think it is necessarily due to racism. Teresa is most likely A, and here's the choices, a Democrat, a black woman, a Republican, a Democrat-leaning woman. Now, the answer, of course, is C, Republican. That was the correct answer, because in the eyes of those who serve the left, only a Republican could presume innocence until guilt is proven when it comes to police shooting unarmed black men. And I say that way because, listen, I say it that way because those who serve the left are the only ones dumb enough to actually believe that garbage. Now, the thought leaders of the left know better, but they're happy to see shit like this proliferated into the collective consciousness of their constituency over and over again. Now, as you might imagine, this caused a bit of stir among parents when it came to light. After all, how do you say Republicans are bad without saying Republicans are bad? You do it by employing a moral deficit in the character of all Republicans. That's going to get the job done every time. And what better way to make sure that you're already sowing division at the youngest ages possible than to gaslight an entire section of the population before the learning eyes of the youth? Now, imagine if the shoe were on the other foot. What if a test your child was taking had the following question? You ready for it? Here you go. Susie heard on the news that there's a bill going through Congress that would allow abortions all the way up through until birth. All right? She's just fine with that, despite the fact that it's clearly murder. Susie is most likely A, even if the answer was Democrat, and let's face it, it would be, would you want that being up in front of your kids' eyes in school? I don't think so. Do you think that even classes which focus on civics and government structure should be taking a side in public education? There's plenty of history and structure to learn without wading off into the weeds on either the right or the left side. But as always, the fact that this happens is the feature, not the bug. It's the leftist mindset that pervades our modern education system. That's what's in there. The only thing that might not be part of the plan is the rare occasion like this one when someone finds out about it and raises a stink. Now, the administrative staff in the Wentzville school are, quote, looking into the matter to see why the question was included. Why was the question included? Because somebody with an ideology freaking wrote it. And they'll probably remove it for now, but the pattern's already on display. To hear that police have shot unarmed people, black, white, purple, and to not immediately come to the conclusion that it was probably driven by racism and not by crime, if thinking that way means I'm a Republican, then I'm a fucking Republican. Because I don't ever want to fit into a group where the cognitive dissonance that is the fashionable modern take on racism is my own mantra. I got too many brain cells still left over for that. Pisses me off. It does. It pisses me off. I can take it. Like, you want to come to me on Twitter, and people like this morning, and can you put up the tweet that this is from a while back. Now, this is this was my tweet, and I'm going to pull it up because there's some interesting comments that were associated with this thing. But this was a person from a little while back, and it's starting to gain some attention again. This is obviously a person with black skin, all right? Black skin. And this person, Dominique Apollon, said, it's taken me 45 trips around the sun, but for the first time in my life, I know what it feels like to have a Band-Aid in my own skin tone. You can barely even spot it in the first image. For real, I'm holding back tears. So I, of course, retweeted it, and I said, Band-Aid oppression? Does this Band-Aid's color match all skin with more eumelanin? No. Time to ban Band-Aids. Because if it matches your black skin, doesn't match everybody else's black skin. So this is why I say we're going into hard times, because this is the level of weakness. You're really having to search for oppression in America if you're getting victimized by the color of a Band-Aid. And by the way, there's a reason why Band-Aids don't have pigmentation in them. And maybe this person, by the way, let me just give you this sweet little description. VP of Research for Racial Justice, 501c3 organization, Race Forward, home of Color Lines, GARE, Facing Race, and more poli-sci, PhD from Stanford, views my own, he, him. Well, maybe if you ever got into the for-profit sector of the world, you'd understand why they don't put colors in Band-Aids. Because it costs more money to dye them. And by the way, I've never worn a Band-Aid that matches my skin either, unless I'm jaundiced with liver disease. I kind of like the Superman or the Mickey Mouse ones. Do you know why they don't proliferate Band-Aids with designs on them? Those are just for children, for a niche market, because it costs more to manufacture those, actually. Just be glad something's holding your blood in. Like, imagine living in a world where we didn't care if black people could hold their blood in. But there we are. We'll actually sell you first aid supplies. Now we got to worry about the color of them. That's a weakness, folks. That's a societal weakness. And people kept coming to me and said, why are you so triggered by this? Really? Really? Now, I'm not going to lose sleep here, but I am going to consistently point to stupid shit. And this is a big heaping, steaming pile of stupid shit. We're supposed to think that this guy is truly oppressed, fighting back tears over a Band-Aid. Well, I'll tell you why it matters to me. Because this level of emotional, mental, and psychological weakness is going to put us under the boot of somebody that's going to come in and kick our ass. Whether it's China, Russia, I don't know. I don't know. But you are setting yourself up for actual oppression when you demonstrate this level of weakness. I'm so happy that you got a black Band-Aid. Or a brown Band-Aid, or a mocha Band-Aid. I don't know what color it is. But I'm sure there's albino black people out there all over the place that are pissed off. Because now people can see their Band-Aid. My heart aches with you, my friends. Speaking of skin, ladies and gentlemen, Genucel has extended your chance to get their most popular package 60% off at Genucel.com. It's great stuff for your skin. During this limited time opportunity, get their brand new Ultra Retinol Cream for maximum anti-aging benefits with your purchase. Genucel's secret is combining the moisturizing effects of hyaluronic acid and a natural plant alternative to retinol in a proprietary base. It's a one-of-a-kind formula that can deliver all the anti-aging benefits of retinol without any of the harsh side effects. So say hello to looking your best and goodbye to fine lines, wrinkles, crow's feet, under eye bags, and even red, blotchy skin. Results you're going to love, guaranteed, or they'll give you your money back. That's the Genucel promise. Join Genucel's best-in-class rewards program at checkout. They'll give you an extra 10% off, and you're also going to receive a complimentary sample gift set. So go to Genucel.com/WatchChad. And yes, I do use this stuff. That's why I'm so damn pretty. Genucel.com/WatchChad. And I want you to get 60% off of this world-class skincare. And right now, every most popular package includes Genucel's immediate effects for results in as little as 12 hours. Go to Genucel.com. That's GENUCEL.com/WatchChad. We'll be right back. Oh my goodness, all the things going on in this world. Beto O'Rouke, Robert Francis, the guy that loves to appropriate culture, he was asked by The View host, why doesn't The View have me on? Come on. They thought about it at one time. Really? Oh, yeah. They were a couple of years ago, back when I was a big deal. They were what's the word I'm looking for? Contemplating it. And they finally came back and said, no, we don't think so. Which I was like, you're lost. Because look at this. Look at this toxic masculine man. Look at all of this. Behold it. Let this be your view. But they had Beta Soy Boy Super Cuck Robert Francis O'Rourke on. And they asked him to describe his preferred limits on abortion. Watch this clip.
Do you believe in any limitations on abortion, whether it's the third trimester or up until even the final 9 months?
I think Roe versus Wade, which we should remind ourselves is still the law of the land today, is the reference point that I would look to. And the way I think I can best express this is that I trust women. We should all trust women to make their own decisions that are in their best interest for themselves, for their health care, and for their future.
Oh, so he didn't have an answer. He wasn't going to touch that. I trust women. What do you trust women to do? What do you trust women to do? I mean, we opened the show talking about a lady that basically got brainwashed by an inmate and then wound up taking her own life. So she was a woman. I'm no biologist, but she made some bad decisions there. Women every day make some really bad decisions, Robert. So I trust women. Nice little political mamby-pamby, watered-down, mealy-mouth answer, dude. But come on, you're still avoiding the thing because it's a very real issue, Robert Francis, especially here in the great state of Texas where you're running for governor, buddy. We need to know, are you going to pull a Ralph Northam and say, well, it's between the physician and the woman and her newly born child as to whether or not to terminate that life? I'd love to hear the answer. But again, The View, they're not going to push for that. They're not going to push for that real answer is the point I'm trying to make. Chris, I'm so happy today. Do you have a TikTok for me? Come on with it.
So I figured that this question would probably come up sometime soon just because of the video and the topics that I cover. But let's break this one down. So intentional weight loss, so you purposely saying, I want to lose 20 pounds, is fat phobic. And you might be like, what? Oh my goodness. I'm not trying to be fat phobic, but you are. You're being fat phobic to yourself. Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? It's probably to fit into something smaller. It's probably so people treat you better. It's probably for all the reasons that fat folks are shamed simply for being fat. So by continuing to perpetuate that, right, seeking intentional weight loss, we are contributing to our fat phobic society. So that's why intentional weight loss is fat phobic.
Okay. Intentional weight loss is fat phobic. What about intentional weight gain? Who's out there doing that? Like, who's out there saying, it's like, I just want to be fucking fat. Like, I just want to blow up. Like, I'm ready to pack on some of that LDL cholesterol. I really want my triglycerides through the roof. Like, load me up with more hamburgers. I need to fit into bigger clothing. You know what? I have a 34-inch waist. I'm really working for 42. Do you ever hear anybody say that? No, of course you don't. You know why? Because what you just said is illogical. It's stupid. It's against human nature. They actually have an innate desire to be healthy. We do dumb things and make poor choices, but people actually do. You know why? Because when you carry fat right here, it increases things like cancer and heart disease and diabetes and all of these things that can destroy your life, literally. I don't have to explain this to you people, but this is the logic that's out here. This is the type of logic that's out there. That's fat phobia. If I want to diet, if I want to eat healthier, if I want to do something to help myself live longer. I was on the phone with my doctor the other day. He said, you got to get that cholesterol under control. He said, I have a genetic issue there. I do. It's not an excuse, but it's a reality. Got to deal with it. Amazing. We got consequences. It's a fact, folks. That's the world we live in. We'll be right back. All right, folks, watch Chad.com. That's where all the fun stuff is. I'm going to Naples, Florida, going to Belton, Texas, going to Bernie, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Shawnee, Oklahoma, Fort Smith, Arkansas. Where the calendar's loading up, folks. You do not want to miss out. We're having fun, guaranteed. And going to be wild and rowdy. Watch Chad.com has the information. Go to blazetv.com/Chad. Sign up, use promo code MORECHAD. Chad for a percentage off of your annual subscription. Don't miss it. And don't forget to go shopping. ChadOnBlaze.com. We love you. God bless you. Tomorrow's Thursday. Jack Carr, our special guest. He's got a new book out. You don't want to miss this. We'll talk to you then. Love you. God bless you. Bye.